Let me see. I don't see Alberto on yet.
You want to send him a text?
I'll send them an email.
Like, every time we have this meeting, it is a soup out there. Soup, I tell you.
It is a C.
It's so crowded. Sorry.
I relate to that.
I'm not before, just it's just.
We're waiting for Tina and then we'll start, but the MT is wrong up there.
I wouldn't want to. I agree with you. Yeah, thank you. I did it enough and getting that just was. Oh, yeah.
It's really not,
Just a regular
it's
use.
fine. Tina is not that. Ladies wrong. All set, technology, all set. Ah, here is Alberto. How exciting.
It's not.
So, where are we?
Like some.
Tina is here.
Me.
She's invisible, she's
Tina.
here.
No, is that okay? One, nice.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12.
And when we see the two new people.
Yeah, we knew that Mac was not gonna be
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Should be here, and
Okay,
Jeffrey's.
oh, Denise is here too. All right, very exciting. So. I think Janine, you can start recording. Thank you. So this is the July 2024 meeting of the Transportation Committee of CB4. We have a hybrid meetings as per our, guidelines. And some people are remote, but they have all submitted sufficient documentation showing that they needed to be remote. And since we have the quorum in the room, we can proceed and they can vote. So that's the first part of this. We are hearing some application and updates from agencies. We will be discussing that. We will be asking questions, then turning to the public, then coming back and having a discussion and vote if appropriate. And then that vote is a recommendation that goes to the full board on July 24. And at July 24, those resolutions will be adopted or modified. So thank you for coming. Colleen, thank you so much for being with us. And the first item is an update by MTA, Alberto, on the grates replacement for which we sent a letter, I don't know, 1 year, 2 years ago? I can't remember. So, yeah, unmute yourself and take it away, Alberto.
Sure. Good evening, Christine and committee. Thank you for having me this evening. And thank you for the letter. We went through the 13 locations that you shared in the letter of areas of concern, and our infrastructure team surveyed these sites. And what they did was a couple of things. The ones that were able to do some repairs and immediate, they did that, and that could be tying down, fastening the grates so they don't separate or have a trip hazard for folks who are walking on top of them. Or for those that needed further intervention, they put plywood over that you may have seen throughout the area. So the plywood is for areas that we were unable to do an immediate repair at this time. So, and on top of that, our stations team is also looking to do immediate repairs that they can do prior to our capital intervention. So as of right now, we've addressed the 13 locations. We made them safe for the public, or in the process of doing that as we speak.
Okay, so when is the capital repair?
So that's the big.
How many of those are there that have plywood or over them?
Have plywood? I can get you that list tonight and send it over to you. So I don't have the complete list of how many have plywood, but I can send you that over.
That would be good.
Mhm.
And then, and so when are those going to be repaired?
So right now we don't have a capital package of capital for those specific events at this time. The ones you may have seen worked on, the 23rd, 28th Street, those were part of a larger package, along with the ones on 50th Street. So those are part of a package. So we're looking, once we can, get these into 2A package. Not sure when that can happen, but I can definitely circle back with our team and see what that timeline looks like. But again, as you know, fiscally, it's kind of difficult at this time for the agency, but we're definitely looking to make sure that the environment around us is safe for customers and pedestrians alike.
But you know, for this, I mean, talking about Midtown, this is where we have the most people, right? Not in Chelsea with due respect, but for, on 8th Avenue on, Midtown, between 34 and 50. And for those not being addressed, it's really an issue.
Yeah, listen, we're not prioritizing one neighborhood or the other. We get to things as we can, and in this instance, we are addressing it because your board definitely made it a priority, and we appreciate that, and we want to make that process known that we want to take care of these events. I want to make them, as you've seen, the finished product is very good, very sturdy. I would argue even sturdier than the ones that we have now. So I think that's what we're looking to do in the future.
I know, I mean, you know, you're just a messenger, I understand, but this is on 8th Avenue, I've seen you have huge piece of plywood. Then you have one which is enclosed, so people cannot even walk on them. And they are taking space. So it's not, you know, a good repair. It's not, what I think is that it's a half repair where the plumber is living in the middle of the job and we are left with the thing. So, I mean, I think we need to write, so what are the opportunities of getting a package, what you call a package, to fix those things?
Well, like anything else, I can definitely raise it to the team that and put on the radar to make sure we can prioritize as many of these events as possible. So I can do that for you.
Well, yeah. What is the team? Who is the team?
Well, our capital team, the folks who do the capital plan, infrastructure team, there's many departments involved in making sure that these things happen. So I'm going to make sure that, you know, I mean, I'm sure they're well aware. I flagged this specific letter, for example, of this being a need for the community, but also a need for us. So we're aware of that.
And who is the head of the capital plan and capital budget? Is that John Oliver or is there somebody else?
Someone else, just send it over to me, the letter, and I'll make sure that departments get it.
Okay. So, yes, question.
Okay, just, I just, question just to get this on record a little bit more bluntly. So Christine, these grates are like tripping hazards or public danger, so. Yeah, I guess we all pay taxes to New York State and we're concerned about the MTA budget like everybody else, especially with the loss of construction, with the congestion. Pricing and all that, so part of this, these are tripping hazards and they've been documented more than a year from the community board.
For 21 years.
Yeah, but we've been making letters and they're documented, the level of liability is elevated because it's.
Yes.
MTA can't claim that they are unaware of this and we just, the state and MTA can't afford lawsuits having been on something that's related to something that's a tripping hazard like this.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yes.
No, yeah,
I'm interested in the spacing between the gratings. I mentioned that the last time around about the rats, it's capable of getting inside and below ground because the gratings are too spaces too wide. And I was talking about a 3/4 of an inch space. So I may have to, again, I'm repeating, get that to a much more narrower space.
Yeah, pest mitigation is definitely a big part of operations. We're all aware we've seen pests throughout the system. It's not a sightly encounter or something that we're proud of. But we definitely try to pinch those spaces that you mentioned, which as much as we can, as often as we can.
okay,
I keep seeing it, that's why.
Gwen, you had your hand up,
I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry, Gwen, we can't hear you.
I think she's on the phone.
When's on the phone?
Okay. All right, so, I don't know, is there somebody from, oh,
So which ones have already been
a
secured?
lot of them in Chelsea? We're lucky. No, I mean, really, from 28 to, I don't know, wherever I walk in Chelsea, they are all done.
Yeah.
And what they have done is put some securing them very safely so that they are in
I know,
place.
I've noticed that.
Right.
But I'm saying, which ones do we need to keep an eye on in terms of going forward that haven't been done yet?
That's what I asked, and he's going to
Oh, so
bring
that's it.
that tonight, right?
Chelsea is pretty refined, so.
Do we have anybody from Janine from the public?
No hands.
Okay. So,
Peter,
I don't know, I propose that we send a pretty strong letter to the head of MTA, to our elected officials, and to the governor. So these are the things that don't get done when we don't have, well, we don't have capital.
Yeah.
Because people are thinking about, all this big thing, and I'm sure the press will pick up on that.
Right.
let's take care of the details, small details.
That situation is not great.
Yeah,
Right, Christine, like you mentioned, we definitely want this to be taken care of and everything comes out to capital funds. But in the meantime, we have made it safe, or we're gonna continue to go through the process with the right teams who can maintain this for in the meantime.
I think, Alberto, you have made it somewhat safe very safe for a number of them, right? For the one which are not done, I wouldn't claim they are safe. Again, because we have enclosure around some of them, and that means that the pedestrian can't go through that. Anyway, so I know it's your job to repeat that they are safe. That's okay.
Yeah, I know the one you're referring to on 28th Street, right across from the construction site at the substation on the corner there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That I can see we can do something a little, I guess, pedestrian friendly. I can definitely ask the team about that. Maybe not something as large as there is now. I can try.
Okay. Okay, but you need to give me a list of what's not done, because I've seen with my eyes a few of them, but I've not seen the others.
Okay, I'll do that today. I'll follow up with the team, get you a response, a readout of what we've done and what's outstanding, and what our next steps are on our end.
Okay, very good. And so the letter is going to say, not good enough, right? And we need to finish the job. And these are in location where we have a high volume of commuters. And that's what it is. And then say it can't be that, we start the job and we do some of them, but we don't do the others, and we understand completely what situation the MTA is in, all right? But we need the management to give you the money to do your job, so that's what we want to do.
And again, we appreciate any support you can give us as the local community board. You know the issues, and we try to be as responsive as we can.
Yes. Okay,
Is there
Amy, we have somebody is making a motion.
we didn't have this listed as a vote, but we're making the vote.
Yes.
Yeah.
Second.
All those in favor? The letter?
David, are you with us?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Anyone opposed? Present not eligible, abstaining.
All right.
Thank you.
So
very
Alberto,
much.
thank you so much, and thank you for sending us the information, okay?
Then Christine, we'll talk soon.
And we appreciate for the one which I've done, they are really cool, very, very well done.
Grateful.
Thank you. And we'll be in touch.
Okay, all right, so the second topic is Citibike safety issue at Worldwide Plaza. I should say that Jesse Bodin and myself went to visit the location with Ron Wisniewski and Karen Michaels, and we kind of explore everything. So I'm going to turn it to them to explain the situation so that you all get it. And then we can talk about what can be done in order to improve the situation. Carrie, Ron?
Carrie lives there, so. There.
Okay, Carrie, it's all yours.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing. You said me?
Yeah, Carrie.
Okay, all right, hi. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for having us. And again, thank you, Christine and Jesse, for joining us July 3rd to look at the entire Worldwide Plaza area, including 8th Avenue, extending through 50th, 8th to 9th, 50th to 51st, that block. There is an entire rack of 50 or more city bikes from 49th to 50th on 8th Avenue. There is another large rack, 40 or more 50 bikes on 49th. A recent rack that has just been added that is the city bike presence has always been an issue in this circular block area, 49th, 50th, 8th Avenue. The issue is first of all, Lyft has absolutely no accountability, rules, laws, doesn't monitor anything. Call center in Nicaragua, if you have a problem, you'll never get it resolved. If you get hit, God forbid, by a city bike rider, the riding is egregious. Through the crosswalks, running red lights, going the wrong way on the sidewalks. We've all experienced this, I understand. So leaving it there with that, because there is, I think, a general understanding of the hazards of city bike usage as well as delivery bike riders, especially in this area. Worldwide Plaza is home to several businesses where people order a lot of delivery, and people that maybe, I really don't think a lot of people are commuting, but there are people in the area that use city bikes. The problem is this latest rack that was added is directly in front of the mouth of Worldwide Plaza and the theater, and on a one-way street on 49th that heads west, supposedly. And people are constantly cutting across into the plaza area, including down the steps. This includes city bikers and delivery riders as well. And it's rampant, it's dangerous, it's hazardous. I've been sideswiped many times. I've been hit in front of my house. I've sustained an injury that is irreparable. I'd like for this not to happen to anyone else. I'd like for my dog not to be endangered, because that is something that every day when I'm in Worldwide Plaza, there's an issue of the dog almost being hit. 2 nights ago, I sat in the plaza and saw 25 electric bicycles in a matter of 30 minutes go through that area, Christine, that we saw, and through the entire plaza in general. There's 3 that were just so bold as to run right through. Where people are sitting, eating, just reading a book, whatnot. It is a public park. There's no need for e-bike activity in this park. There are racks, 2 racks on either side. There are racks on the other side. So it is well equipped with racks. We would like, as we discussed, and Christine and Jesse agreed, the one city bike rack that has been added to be removed from there and pushed more toward 9th Avenue. So the egress would be toward the area where people would be going toward 9th Avenue in the appropriate direction, and that it would also then prohibit people from riding the wrong way, cutting through the plaza to park their city bike from 50th or from 9th Avenue going down 49th the wrong way. This is what we are requesting for the board to send a letter to Lyft that would then move that large rack, because it is a hazard. I can't tell you how many times, literally on the sidewalk, not even in the larger area where there is no barricade that is the responsibility of Worldwide Plaza. And I know that Jesse was going to send a letter to the Worldwide Plaza Association saying that they need to have signage that says there's no through traffic here, no riding is allowed through here. And Christine made a great recommendation of the flower pot barricades, whatever. Although the bikes, they're crafty and they do go around anything that they want. But I think that at least signage and obstruction is a start. I think the guards also can do a better job. I'm out there doing their job, saying don't ride through here, please don't ride through here. There's no traffic through here. If I can say it, I don't know why their security guards can't. That maybe something else can be mentioned to that. But that is the basic, one of the main concerns of this area. I've been dealing with this for about 4 years now or more since that Citibike rack got up. But since the one on 8th Avenue is just has been augmented, it's also more of a hazard. And you know, my neighborhood is literally suffocating with Citibike racks. I'm not quite sure why more racks need to be added all the time. I understand demand, but I also understand that I am a citizen here that lives here as well. And my block is just you know, exorbitantly choking with a private company's profit at compromise to my safety. Thank you.
Okay. Juan, you have anything else to say?
You had asked me to review for you in writing the items that we've discussed before. As a matter of fact, I pulled out the Jesse Greenwald is there, is he? Yes. Jesse, you had compiled this in October of 2023, the ideas that we had from Pedestrians for Bike Safety. Richard Marins and I participated in that. And many of these items are in that letter that I have here. Install one-way signs at Citibike rental sites, print traffic rules in large font, filling the Citibike front basket, require them to, I wonder if this has been done, if any of you know, it might have been, require them to acknowledge their responsibility on the website when they renew their subscription for the bikes. Has that been done?
I don't think so.
I don't
I don't think so.
That hasn't happened either. Okay. And on the kiosk at every Citibike rental station, post the traffic rules and associated fines prominently on that. There's a sign at every one that no one looks at, but perhaps they will. And then, as Carrie just said, these are unique to each block. Review and adjust. We looked at the ones on 49th Street, Christine. Review and adjust the placement of the rental station because to discourage them from going the wrong way on these one-way streets. I have the same problem on 43rd Street where they go the wrong way they're traveling east and they're going the wrong way on 43rd Street for the whole length of the block, which is dangerous. And if there's a way to look at each block and review it and say, well, it might be better because they are unique, everyone is unique, to see where the placement would be better to discourage them from doing that. It would be much safer. And the last one is printing the ID number on the frame of the bike large enough to be able to be seen from a short distance. And that ID number and the time of day would identify who the rider is and make them accountable for their actions. Those are simple things that we tried to do that doesn't require legislation, but it does require the cooperation of Lyft. And I don't know if we can get that, but that we put it out there again. And I'd like to hear what you all have to say about it. Thank you very much.
Should we talk to Colleen first about the relationship with the Lyft?
I would like, well, I think there's two separate issues so here, right? There's our relationship and our thoughts about Citibike in general. And I do think the points that we've already written about, it does seem like maybe for people leaving, perhaps we really should get Lyft in here to talk to them. Mm-hmm. But the primary issue, the one that we can deal with tonight, is what's happening at Worldwide Plaza. And personally, I didn't get to go and visit. I was having a little bit of trouble following exactly the layout of what was being requested. And so I asked Charlie is online. I was hoping maybe he could share his screen and pull.
Yeah, I'll bring Google Maps up.
Thank you. So that we can just take a look and then maybe you could re-explain what exactly is being asked for where to move bike racks. But those were my, we can go to Colleen just for, but I just think there are two separate issues. One of which maybe we should save for another, like the actual, we've already written a letter about, as Ron mentioned, about asking for all these things to happen, but clearly, but clearly, we need to follow up on that, and the person who would follow up with that is Lyft, and not necessarily Colleen and DOT.
Okay, so let's have Charles talk about the drawing. Or I can start explaining. Yeah.
Great.
It's right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is Google Maps. I wasn't aware of these issues prior to this call, so I have a couple questions for the presenters. But I lived at 344 West 49th Street for 5 years, so I lived across the street from this and used this rack every single day on my commute to work and recreation and everything. So I'm very familiar with this rack. It's been here, I think it's been here for 10 years. It was definitely there in 2014 when I moved in.
Except that it has been augmented in the
It's
last 2
been
years.
extended. Got it.
Yes.
It's a little longer. But yeah, I'm very familiar with the issue of you get a bike out and you want to go north on 8th Avenue. Well, the cyclist, so if someone's being lazy, they don't want to bike the right way to 9th Avenue and then go down to 48th Street and then go back over to 8th Avenue. They want to go right here. So what they do is they cut through the public park, which they shouldn't do. And I've seen again, I used to live there, spent a lot of time in this park. They have the security guards in the vest who are usually standing kind of right in here. And I've seen them put out their hand and say, stop, walk your bike to people. I think that's just number one, is that maybe those guys need to be retrained and be more vigilant and stop it. But there should be signage. There should be, looks like there's a little bit of a temporary bollard right there. But yeah, there should certainly be something to discourage that. I'm curious for Ron and Carrie, your proposal was to move now that the rack on 8th Avenue between 50th and 50th, or 49th and 50th, is within the last couple of years. That's a relatively new rack. So is your suggestion to move this down closer to the 9th Avenue corner?
Correct.
Yeah.
Didn't we also write a letter for Worldwide Plaza about don't they have a loading zone here now?
Yes.
Wait, so they have a loading zone here, but let's go back to the thing we were talking about. So first of all, that place in the park looks like a driveway. Anybody who looks at it would think it's a driveway. They are all out on each side and it's open in the middle. So anybody
You could even drive on it.
Right.
I will say, just to interject, Christine, and to the group, they do have that cone there, right? And yes, of course, it could look like that, but except the security did used to say, stop, but they don't do it anymore at all. No one ever is stopping anyone. There's the motorcycle mopeds go through there. So, but the only time is when someone is actually loading something, like on Thursdays, there's a noon band. And so they do have people really there regulating the cars coming in and out and pedestrian traffic. It's very organized at that point. Otherwise, it's just chaos. And if you see, not where the orange thing is, but to the left of that is where people sit. I sit there a lot. Thank you, sir. And people sit there. Many people. I sit there a lot, and the bikes even come down in that way, and literally almost clipped my dog's tail one night. It's really not safe. So yes, we were suggesting pushing it toward 9th, and I did want to add, because I forgot to mention that I have had some success with the police, the two new NCOs coming and trying to ticket. They're just not there enough to make a dent yet. I still encourage them. I texted them yet again the other night saying the traffic is really heavy here. So we have had some cooperation from the police, but still not enough. There should be enforcement there 3 nights a week, discouraging, especially during the dinner rush hours and other times of the day, so that people understand that this is an offense.
So Carrie, thank you for the details and for the explanation. It makes it very clear. So I think what we have is one letter to Worldwide Plaza with some advice on how to do that, and then request a meeting in that same letter. Right?
With Worldwide Plaza, or
Yes.
yeah.
So
that'd be great.
Look, this is not right. You should add a whole bunch of planters. You should have, people there every day. And we would like to meet with you to discuss that.
I also am curious though, and because Colleen's, so does DOT's jurisdiction end at the edge of this sidewalk? Okay, so if we want a sign, but the thing is, I guess where I'm confused. Let's say we want a sign that say you'll be fined for riding across. Who would find, where would that, the fine is only on the sidewalk. There is no fine for riding in the private space, is there? I don't even know.
Colleen, are you still there? Are you still with us?
Me?
Colleen, for our representative from DOT.
Hey, I'm still here. How are you? Go ahead.
So did you hear the question?
Oh, repeat the question for me again. Sorry.
Sure, so it's a question about, one, what is DOT's jurisdiction in terms of, enforcing bike riding rules on sidewalks, would that extend into the plaza here? And if it didn't, and we were to,
Wait, one at a
yeah, all
time.
right, one at a time, so that's
Right.
question one.
Yeah, so we're showing this driveway put in.
Uh-huh.
And the
Mhm.
question is that if there was a sign saying you will be fined, who is going to be responsible for fining? Is that the NYPD because they
So
are white?
if it's on the public city street, it would be NYPD. But if Worldwide Plaza puts their own sign, I mean, who's gonna enforce that? Are they the ones who are gonna be issuing the fines? Which I think they're not gonna be permissible to do so. Anything related to enforcement is NYPD.
But what about is enforcing like bike on private property illegally? Are they?
Bikes on sidewalk property, I mean, they really shouldn't be there. That should be enforced by NYPD. Because obviously, yeah,
But what about on private property?
on private, private, Worldwide can contact the local precinct to let them know what's going on. And they can put up signs. They can put up their own private signs, in within the area, the confines of their building to say that, no bike riding on private property. And
Okay.
that's a clear enforcement right there, those signage, and it's on their property, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I would suggest is that we have one letter going to them and setting up the stage for, saying you need to change that and you need to create a barricade of some kinds, essentially flower pots or whatever.
Is that instead of moving the
No,
Bike rack
it's
or
not
the-
instead of anything,
okay.
it's by itself. So this is something that need to take care of, because wherever is the bike rack, people are still going to go through.
Yeah.
So this is one thing by itself, right?
Yeah.
That needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Yes, on
Yeah,
that.
just one basic concern about the bollards, and that's why I might even have an issue with that orange thing there. We also want to make sure we have pedestrian accessibility for people that are on wheelchairs. And if we're gonna make it hard for a bicycle to get through, it's also gonna be hard for a wheelchair to get through. I think we have to be careful how we
Yeah,
Strollers as well.
I do think some big sign of no bike,
I mean,
it's a good start, but.
to me, it seems like there's probably two ways to deal with this. One is if this is a Worldwide Plaza amenity that they have and it's required to be open to the public, then the enforcement really should be up to Worldwide Plaza to enforce that. So I think it's just reminding them, this is your responsibility to keep it safe. The second thing is like what you were saying, I think it's a separate meeting. It's dealing with city bikes in general. I think it might not be a bad idea for us to come up with our own recommendations for city bike placement policy, just like we've over the years come up with sidewalk and street cafe, because it seems like this is a perfect example of a principle that we would like to have put in place. A city bike rack mid-block. Most people that are coming, I had some time as a city bike member.
but let's
You're not
talk
looking
about
at the
this
block,
one
so-
for 1 second.
Yeah.
Because we
But the
said-
fact that the city bike rack is mid-block is what's helping encourage people to drive through, whereas if it would be closer to an avenue. It would be mid-block, so that the quickest way across might not be through the plaza.
Right.
So that might be-
it's just,
But it's the combination of the
I
plaza
would-
and the middle
Yeah,
block, so let's
so-
talk about this one, and then we can talk about the
Yeah.
generic statement, so. This one is, I think, we should ask to move it as far as possible to the west. And I looked at the signs, and I think if we move it to about 698 feet.
That's
And we
right.
can, I know,
From where? Wait, from the end of from Mac Avenue?
from 8th Avenue.
Oh, like move it 698 degrees in the.
No,
698
there
feet.
is a location which is 698 feet from 8th Avenue, and that would be the beginning of and the reason I'm saying that is that after that, there are two loading zone.
Got it.
Okay, and therefore that's not going to work, but so we can go back and measure again. I mean, I just went quickly on the website. And it says this is where it is. It wouldn't move it, it won't move it all the way, because all the way there is a loading zone, which they had asked us to install. So therefore, I don't think we want to take that away. I think the people of, you know, yeah, if you keep going a little bit. I think there is another sign. Like something like that, right? Right. And so you can't go all the way because you would take away that loading zone that they had asked for. So that would be the second ask, right? That would be of DOT.
But there is, yeah, but there is room as we can see, and you know, it's more logical to have it toward 9th where you can get on the bike. And then there's a bike lane on 9th.
Don't sell us anymore, we are sold. We are sold, we are with you.
Thank you.
So we're just trying to figure the mechanics.
So you're suggesting two separate letters, one to Worldwide Plaza, one to DOT?
Right, and we use kind of the same, now, Colleen, is that the right thing to do, to send it to DOT? Do we need to copy to Lyft, or what do we need to do?
So my recommendation is, why don't you send it to us so we're well aware of what's going on, and then we'll share it with Liv.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Good.
Yes, yes. So we have talked about signage, you know, kind of somewhat blocking the plaza, right? And then there were a collection of good suggestion from, you know, Ron, which was, can we put on the station like a one-way sign?
Yeah.
And these are the things you want to put.
So I want to put that, yeah, I think we should have a vote on these letters now, and the letter to Worldwide Plaza,
Right.
also we would say. Maybe have more security guards or like retrain them physically there so that they know that one of their top jobs is to stop bikers.
So we need the sign, and we need physical separation as much as possible, you know, without creating an ADA situation.
Could they also put something on the ground which would make it rough for the bikes to ride?
I don't think that's going to stop it enough. They would slow down, but that's not.
But the slowing down is even better, but also with all the other things.
Yeah, but people are gonna walk on it too.
Right,
So that's the wheelchairs.
Yeah.
okay,
Well, we can ask them to study.
alright, so
like
do we have a
materials.
resolution for those two letters? Yes, we have one, we have a second one, all in
Okay,
favor,
all in favor of two letters,
alright, so,
anyone opposed?
good. So what do we want to do about the other suggestions, which
So-
are, you know, posting the rules, which are,
I think we've already written, like Ron was helpfully, thank you, Ron, helpfully reading from the letter that we already wrote.
So this is
And
my recap of it. So you put it in different words, Jesse, when it came in the one that you sent.
got it, okay, well, I like the way that you articulated it, and I wrote it down, but I do think it deserves its own, I think if we can get Lyft in here. It's time, I think it's because also, I do think there's probably more than just that, and maybe there are other issues we wanna talk about. City ridership is increasing significantly, which is great, there's a lot of e-bikes now, which is great, but maybe there are others, we wanna do it all in one go. And maybe the best way to do that is to ask for their attendance here, and then we can put all of this in a letter to them. And make a bigger statement than just, I'm worried that if we just send a letter now, it's not gonna be enough, I think we really should ask them to come in.
that would be
Agreed.
very good.
So, why don't we? do
So we kind of table that.
Yeah, we'll table that, that's
right?
okay for now.
Is that okay with you, Ron?
Yes, and you will let us know when you want us back.
Yes,
Yes.
So
Okay.
just so I'm clear, you're sending the letter, but you're requesting like a meeting with them so that we can discuss the safety issues with the bike program, because they don't really have a protocol for that. And the DOT is not supporting any protocol at this point, so we're
Also,
waiting for
maybe
them.
we should have a letter going to them and say we would like to meet with you.
well, you don't think that we can just ask for it, I mean.
I mean, let's like ask. I mean,
Let's ask, to make sure that all that- yeah, let's just ask like we
Yes,
normally
you can
do.
ask, right?
Yeah, let's just ask like we normally do without being.
And if they don't respond, then.
And we'll follow up with a letter, and,
Okay.
They
yeah,
come to a meeting, no reason.
Right,
yeah,
okay,
great,
all right, very good, thank you so
thank you
much.
very much, thanks for bringing this to our attention,
Yes,
and hopefully that can take care of it.
okay,
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for your
All
attention.
right.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
the next topic is 8th Avenue traffic issues.
This is the best and the worst, so we should mention that we have a special guest listening, but if you wanna, yeah, go ahead, we have a, from, I forget which theater organization.
Oh,
He's-
yes,
He's not
yes.
presenting, but he's listening.
Tom,
Yes.
just, yes, Janine, are you bringing over?
So Christine, so Tom actually declined to be, to join as a panelist, but he is listening, but he does not want to comment.
Oh, you just want to listen, okay,
Yes.
that's fine, okay. So here is the background, there was a press conference, not a press conference, I'm sorry, a walkthrough of 8th Avenue with the Broadway theaters. Certain Broadway theaters, we don't know which one, we pretty much know Schubert was involved, but we don't know whether there was any other one. And in that, walkthrough, apparently they did complain about the 8th Avenue sidewalk widening, saying there are not enough space for cars. And saying that if there was a car double parked, that was messing up everything, and therefore we should remove the sidewalk. Which sounded like a jumping logic to me. And then, so that happened, you know, Street Blog got all excited about it, everybody got very excited about it on the Twitter. And I personally got very excited about it. And I thought we would put together a letter to the mayor. Saying, okay, this is why we did it, you know, when it was done, the mayor had a press conference, I was at that press conference where he said. This is very good, we need to do that, you know, the users are not the same users as before. And now we need to have that, so he was probably reading from a script. And he was probably not thinking through what he was saying. Anyway, I think I wanted to remind the mayor and everybody that why we did this, because, you know, we had pedestrian punching bicyclists in the nose because they didn't have enough space. And, you know, the situation had become very, very bad. We knew that since 2011. And finally, when we did that, everybody is really happy with that, and it's full all the time. The second thing, which was in I downloaded the statistics from the Broadway League, which shows that 75% of the people come walking.
70% of
Yes.
the
Right.
theater attendees.
So they
Yeah.
come either by subway, therefore they walk, right? Or they come by, you know, walking. Or, and then 25% say they come by car, and even when they come by car, you know that they're going to park and walk. So the concept that we need more space for Broadway to function is not reasonable, right? Is not rational. And, you know, I have surmised that some executive at Broadway who's coming in a limo, maybe, felt that, you know, it was a mess. Since then, we have received pictures from the cameras, the traffic cameras, which shows that there is no traffic slowdown.
Yeah.
We know that DOT has reduced the amount, has changed the signal timing, so there wouldn't be any congestion. And I just got today a letter from a major property owner who said that he loves the sidewalk. And this is very important for his tenants, and this is very good. So. That's right.
Just to add a little bit more to that, color to that, which is, we did invite a couple of representatives we invited Schubert and
Right.
forget where Tom is from, Broadway League, representatives to attend and speak at this meeting. They declined, although we have a representative who's currently listening to hear how we talk about this, what our issues are. But regardless of them listening, because they're not speaking, they will be hearing from us in the letter that we write. I do want to say, personally, I think I think that the theater community is thinking just about traffic in general, about congestion coming into New York, and probably thinking like, oh, we want to have all incentive. We don't want to disincentivize anyone from coming to the theater if you live in New Jersey and Long Island. And for whatever reason, they focus on 8th Avenue as something that they could, here's a place we can add another lane of traffic, without realizing, as we all know, that every single time I've gone to the theater and come in from 8th Avenue, I am so incredibly grateful that there is the super sidewalk, extended sidewalk that we have, because even with the super sidewalk, it is still too crowded and people cut into the bike lanes or cut into the street. And so I want to add to our letter that not only are they suggesting something that is ludicrous, but they really are suggesting something that's incredibly dangerous. I mean, the sidewalks are already overflowing, even with the extension. And so I think it's sort of.
Yeah, and I had somebody send me an email, saying, I'm in Brooklyn, I'm going to the theater. And I'm walking to the theater, and enroll me in anything you're doing to preserve those sidewalks, just completely unsolicited. I mean, so it's really, really needed. It's not a luxury. It's not an option, and the traffic is not congested. I mean, the vehicular traffic is. I'll show you the pictures taken by the camera. They are not excessively congested.
That's interesting, because the thing is, I totally agree, it is crowded. There is no question, okay? People are overflowing into the street because it's so crowded, but I do recognize that because people are overflowing sometimes into the street, it does affect the traffic.
Well, yeah.
And there.
So that's a good point, but that's a good point, so it would actually make it worse, is what you're saying, that's a decent point, congestion will get.
Yes, but I do understand that he does find that there is traffic, that's all I'm saying. But I think the traffic is often caused by the fact that there are so many people there.
Oh, that's a good point. I like that. Okay. Yes.
I think part of what's contributing to the congestion might also be because we have these really long lines outside the theaters that really overtake the entire sidewalk. Maybe we need to link to the theater community, how can they get people inside the theaters faster?
So they're on the side streets, not on 8th Avenue.
Yeah, but they sometimes come all the way down the block, and it could do, maybe there should be a study on the impacts of traffic from the sidewalk congestion from the theaters to see if that's contributing to the overall congestion in the neighborhood, because I have a really hard time walking down sidewalks where there's theaters when it's the end of the day and just trying to get home.
Yeah.
And I'm not thrilled that some of these theaters really take over the whole sidewalk while I'm walking in the street to get around the line.
Well, I think all the street of the theater should be.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a really good topic to be talking about, because it does highlight some of the negative.
And maybe we can put that.
The negative impact on the transportation network that some of these theaters cause.
We talked to any, I would imagine the businesses along 8th Ave, like the retail and restaurants on 8th Ave would be horrified at the loss of the sidewalk. I'm kind of surprised that I'm reading this article in the Dropbox. You said one person emailed you, but I imagine if this week.
No, but I mean.
If this was more broadly
Some other people reached out to these property owners, and the property owners are indeed representing the retail, right? And so they are representing their.
So you got an email from an organization of property owners?
No, one property owner, which has multiple properties on 8th Avenue.
I guess my comment is it might be just in terms of bolstering our case, reaching out to some of the businesses on the avenue and seeing if any of them wanted to be on the record as supporting the values of sidewalk.
We can be advocating and organizing a sign-on petition, and you guys all take it on 8th Avenue and see how many people sign on. I mean, we can do that too, right, as a secondary thing. It's a lot of work.
I think too, just like the survey is the feet, and they're crowded. I mean, you know, I walk there in the mornings after school drop off, and I walk at night when Broadway's happening, and it's packed. And full disclosure, I'm in this video. Hopefully, I won't show a clip with me in it. But this is 2018. The status quo was like this buffer zone. When we didn't have a super sidewalk, that was the walking lane.
Yes.
Between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock, people walking to Port Authority or Penn Station. You know, if you cycled, you were going in between the pedestrians, and it was just like the most obvious space to extend the sidewalk. And I think it's been, look at this, and I think it's been such a huge success. There I am, sorry. Yeah, I know that this walk around that Mayor Adams did was with a new community group that's looking to improve some of the quality of life issues in the 30s and lower 40s in the Times Square area, and that's appreciated. There are a lot of quality of life issues, but the people that are shooting up heroin on the super sidewalk are just going to shoot up heroin on the regular sidewalk. I don't think, you know, taking away the super sidewalk is going to fix some of the other quality of life problems.
I don't think the group is necessarily, I mean, you know, this is a new group with the bids and what's his name?
Brian.
Yeah. Brian, and Brian loves the super sidewalk, so I don't think this was really, I think it was really coming from, because I heard that comment from the theaters long time ago, the first time it came out. And to the point where DOT changed the signal timing to make sure that it wouldn't be a problem. So DOT has already taken action on, you know, a certain complaint about, oh my God, we are losing, you know, the streets. So.
Do you think we could actually, in our letter, can we link to that video? I think that would actually be helpful, right? Why don't we add a link to the letter? Charlie, do you mind if we put that link in the letter?
Add a link to that video?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's Streets Films. Yeah, it's in the Streets blog article.
Oh, it's the street blog.
And there's another street blog about the people. I mean, my neighbor was punched on the bike, was punched in the nose, and he spent 5 days in the hospital.
Well, it was years ago, I remember that.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Because
he was in that, you know, very narrow bike lane.
Yeah.
And there is a pedestrian that came around, and the pedestrian said, "Get out of my way," and boom.
Wow.
And 5 days. So I can tell you, this is the nicest guy I know. So, but to me, this is the ultimate proof that something is really wrong.
I think in a polite way, I don't know how we could word this, but we should say, bold and say, this proposal that they're proposing to close, take away the
But they're not
sidewalk.
really proposing that. They are just saying it needs to be looked at.
Okay.
And so I want to say, we've looked at, that's it.
But I think we want to say, we'll let them know that their ideas are ludicrous.
Right.
We should say this polite, they should know that they're saying is absolutely awful and a horrible plan.
Right.
And that should be emphasized, so they don't go down this road, we even look at it.
And the question is that who is that going to benefit? Their plan.
It's going to benefit somebody driving in from New Jersey by themselves in their communities to see a Broadway show and pay $100 to park.
But we should know who exactly to put this in the mayor's head. What?
The Schubert organization.
The Schubert, the theater person?
I don't know the person.
Well, no, we should find out who that person
And-
is. Why? And expose him for being like insane.
Well, you don't do that. You don't do
Yeah, kind of like shame, yeah, that is kind of, no, that's kind of shame.
That's
That-
not helpful for.
You know, look, this person, what this kind of person, if it's implemented, will affect people's lives. People will get killed possibly.
But
And that
we just
Make it
communicate that
more
to the mayor.
And that has to be put on this person. This person needs to know that his idea, he's responsible,
Right.
or she.
And if he or she is working for the Schubert organization and other people at the Schubert organization are pissed off, they're going to say, well, I'm just the messenger. All right, so this is usually the people who talk are not necessarily the principal.
You're also entitled to ask for things. You don't have to give it,
Yeah.
but you're entitled to ask. You know,
Right.
just the person.
Actually,
If
it's
you are
a
a
bad idea.
Schubert organization,
Yeah.
you are entitled to ask anything you want. This big.
But I think the point is our letter will be pointing out that it is a very bad idea. I don't think we need to attack anyone personally, but I do think,
They may not know the whole history of this, and like,
Right. Yes.
maybe they will change their mind when they see like.
write a convincing letter.
Right. So, do we have a? Charles,
Can I make one more point, Christine? We can talk about how bad it was before, but I think we also need to emphasize how great it is now. And these super sidewalks have planters in them. And it's in the interest of the Schubert organization and all of the Times Square theaters to have our central business district, our theater district to be, beautiful and friendly to people come and they stay in hotels and they're not driving to Broadway. What 5% are driving to Broadway or whatever it is. It's something really small. But how about making the experience of getting to and from Broadway more beautiful, more practical, and safer for the other 95%? And I think we just need to stress these are great. The community loves them, and we don't know where this is coming.
What about making all those retail and property along 8th Avenue to be more marketable, right? They are old business office building. And they need all the help they can to get to, to market them. And so 8th Avenue is not your best, your more attractive avenue. And any way we can help it is good. Yes, that's a very good point. Okay.
I just want to make a few comments. I've actually knew 3 people who died, who got killed on 8th Avenue, right around the corner, where I live. And one of them was a stagehand who worked for the Schuberts. What we have now currently, this extended sidewalk is allowing for a greater safety. And had we had
For their employees too.
for employees, and that has saved lives along.
Okay.
I myself have been hit by bikes because of the traffic, and some almost by taxis. Literally have full children away from the streets as they were crossing because of the traffic. It was so bad, and you have these drivers who are running, trying to make that left turn at the expense of the pedestrian. And the fact that we have this extended sidewalk has helped tremendously.
And the pedestrian safety, the other thing is that the signal, people don't realize, the signals, before that, there were no signal for turning. And there were so many pedestrian and bikes that the cars could never turn.
Yeah.
And so since they have installed those split phase signal, the cars have their dedicated turn, which is making the traffic better. Because the lane turns and they have their lights and it's better for the cars, not just for the pedestrian and the bikes. So there is so many benefits to everybody. Obviously, nobody sat down with them and said, hey, this is what it does for you. Yes.
Is there anything we can do to discourage the double parking? Like, I think of all the streets in New York, that does seem like one of the worst.
Like, call NYPD and then.
Could you make it like the regular parking, like 15-minute parking or something, so it's easy to pull into? Like, I think there's an argument that, I don't know if it's commercial parking or not, I think.
It is commercial parking.
That is hard.
Is it all commercial parking?
Yeah, but I don't think it's 3 hours commercial, not 30 minutes.
Yeah, which is probably required for like loading and unloading for restaurants and stuff, but.
You don't need 3 hours to load and unload. No. 3 hours is for people who come and do repairs.
Or maybe that parking is only after after theater is closed,
Well, you can't do that because you have retail all along, so you need people to load and unload, but you don't need necessarily 3 hours.
But if there's anything we could do to look into that, there's anything we could do to discourage, because it is bad, like if you do a 2-lane street and
Well,
you
we
can't
can.
double park all the time.
Only
Because there's not the absolute parking, the extended parking location.
Dangerous things happen.
And it really does slow down the street, like.
But I think it's a good idea to put that in the letter saying, because the whole thing was about it's double parking. And this is probably a good idea to say, look, why don't you direct DOT to evaluate the program of a shorter time for loading and unloading, so there is more movement and there is no,
Yeah.
and we can just put it in when it can. Who knows what it's going to go into?
What I have seen, right, as a matter of fact, right across the street from the Worldwide Plaza is, you have the bus stop, the, transit bus stop, but you also have out of state buses that are parking.
What's-
Like,
Oh,
out
that's
of
another
state,
thing.
yeah, that's right,
Out of
and,
state,
and
right,
because to unload, you have to unload on the right side,
right,
on the bus.
right.
There's no other way you can do this on the.
But then the Schubert is going to say, well, I need those buses to bring me my Broadway goers. So this, they
But they
want
can't-
that,
Yeah, but they can't unload on the left side of 8th Avenue, they have to
I
unload
know.
on the right side
I know,
because of the exit.
so we can't say anything about that.
Yeah, that, right,
Right,
it's very difficult, but I see it, I actually step outside just to let the drivers listen, you can't, you're actually parking right where the bus stop is, and you're making
right.
the folks. They'll have to walk up right up on the.
We could mention the buses, say, that's another reason, but then they're going to say, well, then that's the reason why we need more lanes,
That's, I thought about that too.
right? Well, it's always kind of,
Don't understand why they're not worried about liability issues, quite honestly.
The whole thing is
Okay.
crazy, not thought through, but I'm happy to quickly summarize a letter that we might draft. A lot of ideas went around, thank you everyone for the contributions, ludicrous, I got that all over the place here. Remind the mayor why we did this, who is even gonna benefit, this is just like, these are all shorthands, but I'm just, capture the idea of what we talked about. Who is even gonna benefit, dangerous, it's not a luxury, it's really needed, congestion get worse because people are overflowing, people in line for theaters, when they get faster, retail on 8th Avenue. Affected, should link to the video, it's not a fix for the other problems, emphasize how great it is now, super sidewalks are good, have plan is beautiful, make the experience of getting to from Broadway better. Death, really dangerous, sidewalks lead to greater safety for their theater employees, super sidewalks save lives, we've already installed split phase signals, so traffic can actually turn. And to look at the loading zones, do away with double parking, ask DOT, or, directing DOT to evaluate a program with shorter time of loading, unloading, and maybe we look
and
at the
what did
buses
you
as
put,
well.
like, the DOT doing the change the timing,
Is each of the signals,
right?
relook at it again, I mean,
No, I mean,
Yeah,
they did it.
they did it, that's why I said,
Oh, I
I said that.
I didn't catch what you
I'll
said.
say, I've gone quick, so that would be the letter, do we have
Who is
a?
it? Who is that?
Oh, the letter is going to go, sorry, the letter would go to
The mayor.
the mayor CCing all of the theater organizations, all of them.
So the Broadway League and
Broadway
then,
League and
and
then,
then the biz.
Yes, it is.
is that cover us?
Times Square line.
Times Square Alliance. So then that means that we don't have to specifically list out each
What?
theater,
No, Broadway League is one.
covers it, okay, yeah.
And then
Right.
the bids, which is the garment and the that's Times Square Alliance, right,
Yeah.
that section.
What about the block associations of that? It's not.
There's no. Real conversation.
I
On
think
the,
rather than like canvassing the 8th Avenue retail, which I have no desire to do, I'll admit. We could, one, easier alternative would be to, ask Jesse to email like the 2 bids and say, like, has the super sidewalk benefited retail on those corridors? How do you feel about it? I don't know what they'll say, but I suspect it will be positive.
well,
that's.
some bids are going to be in a difficult situation, because some bids, Broadway is a major player in the bid. So politically, I don't know whether we're going to get anywhere, right? I think it's a good idea, and just don't get me wrong, I just don't think they're going to be able to.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hopefully caught all the comments, is there a motion for this letter against the mayor, Broadway League and the bids? I make
Motion.
Seconds,
okay,
all those in favor,
all in favor,
anyone opposed? Oh, thank you, Glenn.
we're good.
Okay, we are good. I have
What happened with Flixbus?
So, Flixbus, it was, speaking of 8th Avenue and people stopping, when I was on a bus. Like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that dropped me off in the middle of 8th Avenue. And after thanking the bus driver very nicely, I then started to yell at him because they have a whole parking lot. And anyway, I spoke to Flix, they agreed that this sounds like an issue, so I said, I gave them up till September to not only, to address the issue, and so they'll come in front of us in September. Now, they recognize the issue, and now I'm hoping they'll come to us with a fix and a fix, or like at least a commitment to solve, to address the problem, rather than having them tonight when they weren't prepared, so that's fine. I do wanna say, in new business or old business, I'm a fool and booked a flight on the wrong day, and so I'm missing next week's full board, which is why I did not put, tonight would have been a perfect night for us to finally be done with the street co-naming guidelines, because it's such a short meeting, but I didn't want to subject anyone to having to present that at full board. So that is why it is not on tonight's meeting, and I will wait a couple more months. I'm very sorry, but we will get that done, and it'll be out of our lives. But I didn't want to subject anyone to have to present that at full board when I wasn't going to be there. So that's still out there.
Which one are you referring?
The street co-naming guidelines, we have a little working group going to redo this, and I just know that is gonna be a thing at full board, people are gonna have comments, and I thought, so, because I'm not gonna be there, we're not talking about it tonight. That's all.
Good thing.
And that's all.
That's it. Colleen, do you have any updates for us? Just in case.
No, I mean, Summer Street's happening again, this year, August, the first 3 Saturdays, in August. So we're super excited. It's in the 5 boroughs, as most of you know. But we continue with the implementation of the 10th Avenue bike lane. I must say that has been really smooth. We've been in touch with quite a few of the stakeholders. So no major concerns with that.
Is there a timeline for that, Colleen? When we think we might cut a ribbon on that?
That's an excellent question, and I'm going to find out, and hopefully we'll be able to do that soon. So I'll let the board know. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so motion to adjourn.
Short meeting, we deserve it. Last month was really long. It's back in favor. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks,
Happy
everybody.
summer,
Have a good night.
everybody.
And this committee will not meet again until September. When August is off.
Oh.
Enjoy your month. I will not see you all for the board.
For all of us.
Have a great rest of the summer.
Yeah, have a great rest of the summer, everybody. I'm looking forward to hearing about everyone's trip. In a couple months.